The Western Athletic Conference is an American collegiate athletic conference formed on July 27, 1962 and affiliated with the National Collegiate Athletic Association Division I. The WAC covers a broad expanse of the western United States, with member institutions located in Arizona, California, New Mexico, Utah, and Washington, along with the non-western states of Missouri, Illinois, and Texas. Due to most of the conference's football-playing members leaving the WAC for other affiliations, the conference discontinued football as a sponsored sport after the 2012-13 season and left the NCAA's Football Bowl subdivision. The WAC thus became the first Division I conference to drop football since the Big West in 2000. The WAC then added men's soccer and became one of the NCAA's 11 Division I non-football conferences. Member schools. Current members. The following institutions are the full members of the WAC for the 2015-16 academic year. Notes: with the elimination of football as a WAC-sponsored sport, New Mexico State's football program has joined the Sun Belt as an associate member. In July 2015, UTPA merged with the University of Texas at Brownsville to create the new University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. The University of Texas system stated in July 2014 that the UTPA athletics program will be converted into the athletics program at UTRGV. On November 5, 2014, UTRGV's new nickname of VACAS was announced. The founding date for UTRGV listed in the table reflects that of Edinburgh College, the institution that eventually became UTPA. According to U.S. News and AMP World Report, RNP means a ranking was calculated, but is not published. Unranked means not enough information was provided to make a calculation. Championships title totals are through fall 2015. Affiliate members. The following 11 schools field programs in the WAC for sports not sponsored by the primary conferences. Notes: 4 schools became affiliate members in men's soccer in July 2013. The WAC announced on January 9, 2013 that it would reinstate the sport, which it had sponsored from 1996 to 1999. Because the conference dropped football, it was necessary to add a new men's team sport to maintain its Division I status. It chose men's soccer because 3 of the confirmed members for 2013-14 already sponsored the sport, and filled out its soccer ranks by attracting 4 schools from the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation. 3 of these schools have past WAC connections. Former full members Air Force, UNLV and San Jose State. After the WAC announced it would add men's soccer, the conference gained an 8th soccer school for the 2013 season when UMKC, which already sponsored the sport, joined. In addition, Utah Valley added the sport for 2014, Pan American added it for 2015, and Chicago State is slated to add it for 2016. 4 schools became affiliate members in men's swimming and diving in July 2013. The WAC announced on May 16, 2013 that it would reinstate the sport, which it had sponsored from 1962 to 2000. North Dakota and Northern Colorado joined the WAC for baseball for the 2014 season. Sacramento State was formerly an associate member of the WAC on baseball from 1992-93 to 1995-96. Championships title totals are through fall 2014. Former full members. The WAC has 27 former full members. Former affiliate members. Membership timeline. Full members. Other conference associate member. Prior to the 1996-97 season, both Air Force and Hawaii had most to all of the women's sports competing in other conferences before joining the WAC full-time with the men's sports counterparts. At the time, Air Force was in the Colorado Athletic Conference, and Hawaii was in the Big West Conference. History. Formation. The WAC formed out of a series of talks between Brigham Young University Athletic Director Eddie Kimball and other university administrators from 1958 to 1961 to form a new athletic conference that would better fit the needs and situations of certain universities which were at the time members of the Border, Skyline, and Pacific Coast Conferences. Potential member universities who were represented at the meetings included BYU, Washington State, Oregon State, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona State, and Wyoming, while the three Washington and Oregon schools elected to stay in a revamped Pac-8 conference that replaced the scandal-plagued PCC. The remaining 6 schools formed the WAC. The Border and Skyline conferences, having each lost 3 of the stronger members, dissolved at the end of the 1961-62 season. The charter members of the WAC were Arizona State, BYU, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. New Mexico State and Utah State applied for charter membership and were turned down. They would eventually become WAC members 43 years later. Success and first expansion. The conference proved to be an almost perfect fit for the 6 schools from both a competitive and financial standpoint. Arizona and Arizona State, in particular, experienced success in baseball, with Arizona garnering the 1963 College World Series runner-up trophy and ASU winning the CWS in 1965, 1967, and 1969. Colorado State and Texas El Paso, at that time just renamed from Texas Western College, joined in 1967 to bring membership up to 8. With massive growth in the state of Arizona, the balance of WAC play in the 1970s became increasingly skewed in favor of the Arizona schools, who won a tied for all but 2 WAC football titles from 1969 onward. In the summer of 1978, the 2 schools left the WAC for the Pac-8, which became the Pac-10, and were replaced in the WAC by San Diego State and, 1 year later, Hawaii. The WAC further expanded by adding Air Force in the summer of 1980. A college football national championship won by Brigham Young in 1984 added to the WAC's reputation as one of the best NCAA Division I conferences. This 9-team lineup of the WAC defined the conference for nearly 15 years. Second wave of expansion and turbulence. Fresno State expanded its athletic program in the early 1990s and was granted membership in 1992 as the nationwide trend against major college programs independent of conferences accelerated. The WAC merged with the High Country Athletic Conference, a parallel organization to the WAC for women's athletics, in 1990 to unify both men's and women's athletics under one administrative structure. In 1996, the WAC expanded again, adding 6 schools to its ranks for a total of 16. Rice, TCU, and SMU joined the league from the Southwest Conference, which had disbanded. Big West Conference conference members San Jose State and UNLV were also admitted, as well as Tulsa from the Missouri Valley Conference. Also, 2 WAC members for men's sports at the time, Air Force and Hawaii, brought the women's sports into the WAC. With the expansion, the WAC was divided into 2 divisions, the Mountain and the Pacific. To help in organizing schedules and travel for the far-flung league, the members were divided into 4 quadrants of 4 teams each, as follows. Quadrant 1 was always part of the Pacific Division, and Quadrant 4 was always part of the Mountain Division. Quadrant 2 was part of the Pacific Division for 1996 and 1997 before switching to the Mountain Division in 1998, while the reverse was true for Quadrant 3. The scheduled 4th year of the alignment was abandoned after 8 schools left to form the Mountain West Conference. The division champions in football met from 1996 to 1998 in a championship game at Sam Boyd Stadium in Henderson, Nevada. Increasingly, this arrangement was not satisfactory to most of the older, pre-1990 members, particularly Air Force, BYU, Colorado State, Utah, and Wyoming. Additional concerns centered around finances, as the expanded league stretched from Hawaii to Oklahoma and now included 4 time zones in 9 states. With such a far-flung league, travel costs became a concern. The presidents of those 5 schools met in 1998 at Denver International Airport and agreed to split off to form a new league. The breakaway group invited old-line WAC schools New Mexico and San Diego State and newcomer UNLV to join them in the new Mountain West Conference, which began competition in 1999. A USA Today article summed up the reasons behind the split, with Hawaii and the Texas schools separated by about 3,900 miles and 4 time zones. Travel costs were a tremendous burden for WAC teams. The costs, coupled with lagging revenue and a proposed realignment that would have separated rivals such as Colorado State and Air Force, created unrest among the 8 defecting schools. WAC in the 2000s. In 2000, the University of Nevada, Reno of the Big West joined as part of its plan to upgrade its athletic program. TCU left for Conference USA in 2001. The Big West announced that it would drop football after the 2000 season, but 4 of its football-playing members were unwilling to drop football. Boise State was invited to join the WAC and promptly departed the Big West, while New Mexico State and Idaho joined the Sun Belt Conference and Utah State operated as an independent DIA program. At the same time, Louisiana Tech ended its independent DIA status and also accepted an invitation to join the WAC with Boise State. In 2005, Conference USA sought new members to replenish its ranks after losing members to the Big East, which had lost members to the ACC. 4 WAC schools, former SWC schools Rice and SMU, as well as Tulsa and UTEP, joined Conference USA. In response, the WAC added Idaho, New Mexico State, and Utah State, all former Big West schools which left the conference in 2000 along with Boise State when the conference dropped football. The 3 new schools were all land-grant universities, bringing the conference total to 5. Membership changes and the elimination of football. The decade of the 2010s began with a series of conference realignment moves that would have trickle-down effects throughout Division I football, and profoundly changed the membership of the WAC. Boise State decided to move to the Mountain West Conference for the 2011-12 season, and to replace departing BYU. The MWC also recruited WAC members Fresno State and Nevada for 2012-13. WAC Commissioner Carl Benson courted several schools to replace those leaving, including the University of Montana, which declined, as well as the University of Denver, University of Texas at San Antonio, and Texas State University San Marcos, which all accepted effective 2012-13. But the resulting eastward shift of the conference's geographic center led Hawaii to reduce travel expenses by becoming a football-only member of the MWC and joining the California-based Big West Conference for all other sports. Further invitations were then issued by the WAC to Seattle University and the University of Texas at Arlington. These changes meant that the conference would have 10 members for 2012-13, 7 of which sponsored football, and Benson announced that the WAC planned to add 2 additional football-playing members to begin competition in 2013. A further boost came when Boise State decided to join the Big East in football, and return to the WAC in most other sports, as of the 2013-14 academic year. So by the end of 2011, the WAC seemed to have weathered the latest round of conference changes, and once again reinvented itself for the future. But from this seemingly strong position, early 2012 brought forth a series of moves that shook the conference to its very core, beginning with Utah State and San Jose State accepting offers to join the MWC. 4 similar announcements followed, with Texas, San Antonio and Louisiana Tech jumping to Conference USA, plus Texas State and Arlington heading to the Sun Belt Conference, all as of 2013-14. Boise State also cancelled plans to rejoin the WAC, instead opting to place its non-football sports in the Big West Conference, before eventually deciding to simply remain in the MWC. These changes left the WAC's viability as a Division I football conference in grave doubt. The 2 remaining football-playing members, New Mexico State and Idaho, began making plans to compete in future seasons as FBS independents. They ultimately spent only the 2013 season as independents, rejoining the one-time football home of the Sun Belt as football-only members in 2014. In order to rebuild, as well as forestall further defections, the conference was forced to add 2 schools, Utah Valley University and CSU Bakersfield, which were invited in October 2012 to join the WAC in 2013-14. But this did not prevent 2 more members from leaving. Denver decided to take most of its athletic teams to the Summit League as of the 2013-14 season, shortly after Idaho opted to return all of its non-football sports to the Big Sky Conference in 2014-15. The conference responded over the next 2 months by adding Grand Canyon University, Chicago State University, and the University of Texas Pan American. Then, in February 2013, the WAC announced the University of Missouri-Kansas City would join in the summer of 2013 as well. These changes would put the conference's membership at 8 members by 2014, with only 1, New Mexico State, having been in the WAC just 3 years earlier. Due to losing the majority of its football-playing members, the WAC would stop sponsoring the sport after the 2012-13 season, thereby becoming a non-football conference. While the WAC has had no changes in membership since the departure of Idaho, one member school has changed its identity. In 2013, the University of Texas system announced that Texas Pan American would merge with the University of Texas at Brownsville. The new institution, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, began operation for the 2015-16 school year. UTRGV inherited UTPA's athletic program and WAC membership. Commissioners, Sports, The Western Athletic Conference currently sponsors championship competition in 9 men's and 10 women's NCAA-sanctioned sports. 9 schools are currently associate members in 4 sports. Men's soccer was the newly sponsored sport for 2013-14. UTRGV will add it for 2015, and Chicago State is also to add it. In softball, the WAC has 6 softball members. However, because softball sponsoring Head Canyon is reclassifying from Division II to Division I, it is not eligible for the conference tournament. Men-sponsored sports by school * affiliates North Dakota, Northern Colorado, and Sacramento State = Chicago State was expected to add men's soccer by 2014, but the school has now budgeted the sport for the 2016-17 school year. # affiliates Air Force, Houston Baptist, Incarnate Word, San Jose State, and UNLV. Affiliates Air Force, North Dakota, UNLV, and Wyoming. Men's varsity sports not sponsored by the Western Athletic Conference, which are played by WAC schools. Grand Canyon Volleyball will join the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation in 2017. Women's sponsored sports by school * affiliates North Dakota, Northern Arizona, and Northern Colorado. Women's varsity sports not sponsored by the Western Athletic Conference, which are played by WAC schools. Football. The WAC sponsored football from its founding in 1962 through the 2012 season. However, the defection of all but 2 football-playing schools to other conferences caused the conference to drop sponsorship after 51 years. Men's basketball. WAC tournament rivalries. Men's basketball rivalries involving WAC teams include awards. Women's basketball. WAC tournament rivalries. Women's basketball rivalries involving WAC teams include baseball. The WAC has claimed 7 NCAA baseball national championships. The most recent WAC national champion is the 2008 Fresno State Bulldogs baseball team. WAC tournament championships. Current champions. Source: for the sports in which the WAC recognizes both a regular season and a post-season champion, indicates regular season champion, indicates post-season champion. For other sports, only a post-season champion is recognized. National championships. The following teams have won NCAA national championships while being a member of the WAC: Arizona baseball, Arizona State baseball, BYU men's track and amp field, BYU men's golf, BYU women's cross country, Fresno State softball, Fresno State baseball, Rice baseball, UTEP NCAA Division I men's cross country, UTEP NCAA Division I men's indoor track and field, UTEP NCAA Division I men's outdoor track and field, UNLV men's golf. The WAC has also produced one AP national champion in football, BYU. The following teams won AIAW women's national championships while the universities were members of the WAC: Arizona State swimming, badminton, softball, golf, Utah cross country, gymnastics, skiing. UTEP indoor track and field facilities. Note: Key Arena is configured for 8,901 capacity for Seattle games. Awards. Commissioner's Cup. The WAC awards its Commissioner's Cup to the school that performs the best in each of the conference's 19 men's and women's championships. Joe Kearney Award, named in honor of former WAC Commissioner Drive Joseph Kearney. The awards are given annually to the top male and female WAC athlete. The various WAC member institutions' athletics directors select the male award winner, while the WAC member institutions' senior women's administrators choose the female honoree. Stan Bates Award. The award is named in honor of former WAC Commissioner Stan Bates and honors the WAC's top male and female scholar athletes, recognizing the recipient's athletic and academic accomplishments. In addition, the awards carry a $3,000 postgraduate scholarship. Media. WAC Digital Network. In 2014-15, the WAC initiated a new digital network to give fans high-quality streaming internet access to many of its regular season games and post-season championships, including volleyball, soccer, swimming and diving, basketball, softball and baseball.